Good morning to all. How are you doing? Thanks for stopping by. I wanted to tell you about, I was walking this morning. I hope you got a coffee. I got my tea. And I was out there walking this morning, early this morning, because it's getting hot here in Texas. So you can't just, you know, go out later because the sun comes up and it gets so hot you just start sweating like everything I do. And I'm realizing more and more I need to start walking about 5:30 in the morning. I mean, I hate doing that, but you got to do what you got to do. You can't stop walking. Like in the wintertime, I can't walk. Not when all that ice and stuff's coming down and the freezing north winds coming. I get real bad earaches and everything else. You know how it is. And it blows stuff all over you. I just don't like doing that. Same as in the summertime. I don't like being out in a dust storm. We've had a lot of dust storms coming from Mexico. If you remember last year, and I think the year before, we had tremendous dust storms that came in from Mexico. And I think they had some kind of a disaster at their petroleum manufacturer there in Mexico, and that it caused a big fire and the smoke came into Texas. And it was horrible. Breathing conditions were terrible. But I was out there walking this morning. I was remembering some things about me and my brother. I'm going to tell you something. We sure had a lot of fun back in the 1950s. My brother come to me one morning. We got up early and we were always going out in the woods and everything. He said, "Hey, let's go do some crawdad fishing." I said, "Okay." He said, "We're going to do it differently this time." And I said, "Well, what do you mean you're going to do it differently?" "Well, what are we going to do different?" And I said, "Are we out of bacon?" Because we use bacon on a string, and we would put it on the end of a branch, small branch, and we would take it and put it out there, and we'd pull them crawfish right out of the water. Well, we had a good time, I tell you what. But he said, "No." He said, "What we're going to do today is we're going to use our hands." And I said, "Our hands?" He said, "Yeah, and here's what you got to do. You got to go, but now they're going to do this with their claws. But when they do that, you grab behind them and you lift them out of the water." Well, I'm going to tell you something. We went way out there, and I was all up on the bank around this big pond. I was out there walking in the water, and I was walking along about that time out of the water. These big claws come up, and I mean, they were big, biggest I ever seen. And I've caught a lot of catfish when I was a boy, a lad of a boy. But I'm going to tell you something. These were different. They were blue. My brother said, "That's a blue pincher. Get it." Well, I went over there, and boy, it was doing this to me, and it backed up, and it went more and more shallow water, which I was glad, because I don't like reaching underwater and trying to get them. They really get you then. They'll get you on your wrist, cut your skin. Oh, listen, and they hang on to you with the other pincher, and by the time you get away from them, you've got several deep gashes on you. So this happened to me several times with them red pinchers. They got red pinchers and they got blue pinchers. So, boy, I was happy. I got up there, and he reached right up and grabbed my hand. Boy, I hollered top of my lungs. My brother laughed. He was over there. He said, Don't turn him loose." I said, "He's got a hold of me." So I finally grabbed him behind, on his big tail. Oh, he was a big one. He was a big tail, and that's what we ate, was the tails. He was a big crawdad, and he had a big tail on him, big and fat. He said, get him." So I got him. I brought him over there, and we had something we kept him in. I don't remember what it was, a box or something that we kept, or it might have been a big bucket. But we put it in there. I think it was a bucket, metal bucket. And it had a little bit of water in there. So we did that. We continued. We caught a lot of catfish that day, and we took them back home. And my dad took the tails, and he peeled them, and he fried them up. He deep fried them. He put them in, flour and egg and milk and flour, and he used salt and pepper. And listen, this smelled so good. He made potatoes with onions, fried potatoes and onions. Oh man, it was so good. It was so good. We had pinto beans with it, and we had cornbread. And I tell you what, it was delicious. It was absolutely delicious. Me and my brother would go seining. I don't know if you've ever done that or not. A seine is a long net. And you go out from the bank in the water, and one stays up close to the bank, about this far from the bank. I say about 2 feet from it. Sometimes a little bit further, maybe 2.5 feet from it. And then you drop down underwater with it. You know, you don't go under the water, but you put the seine, the net, up under there, and you start walking with it. Well, as you walk, you catch fish, crawfish, and everything, minnows. You catch your bait, and if you're at a lake, you catch shad and things like that that you can use to catch bass with, or catfish, or whatever you want to do. Well, we had a good time, man. We caught fish. Oh, listen. We caught fish like you would not believe. We would go to these ponds way out in the woods. They were abandoned ponds. The people that had owned the property, they were deceased, and their heirs never came out there. My allergies are kicking daylights out of me. But I tell you what, we had such a wonderful time. I take me a little piece of Benadryl when I start having a problem. My allergist told me that. If you ever start having an attack with allergies, and this is not medical advice, I'm just telling you, my allergist told me when I start having an allergy attack to take a little piece of Benadryl. I buy the Walmart brand of Benadryl. It's not real Benadryl. It's the Walmart brand. It's called Allergy Relief. And these little tablets right here, you take them and you can cut them up with a knife, or you can break them with your hands, or bite them with your teeth. But you just want a little bitty piece of it and drink it with water, or like with me, with my tea. And it'll go to work on you pretty quickly. But it seems like every time I go outside, I have a problem, because, we've got a lot of cottonwood in the air right now, and I cannot stand that cottonwood. That stuff gets all in my nose and makes it itch. A lot of times you'll see me doing this. Well, that's because I've been out walking, and the cottonwood comes down out of the trees, and it gets all over me. That stuff, those are really bad, them cottonwoods. They mess up air conditioning units and everything. They clog everything up. It's just a mess. But me and my brother had a lot of fun crawdad fishing. And we used to go, my brother had a big inner tube we had found in a rope. And there was this big drop off on the creek that went all the way across. So he had pulled that way back. And we would get a hold of that, and we would take off. Man, we would fly to the other side, and we would turn loose of the bottom of the tire, and we would fly over to the other bank. And listen, it was a long way, and it was quite a drop. It wasn't no little bitty drop. I say we had probably a 14-foot drop, but it was moist sand, beside the stream that ran through the woods there where we were out at. We were always out in the woods. Me and my brother, while we hit the woods, we got up early in the morning. I don't understand children nowadays. My grandchildren, they stay on the computers all the time. Now, I've got one grandson that he goes out. I call him Coco. And, of course, he's a full-grown guy now. You know how it's hard to forget about them being little bitty. Well, he's taller than I am, big old guy. He was in football and everything, but I'm proud of the fella. But he fishes all the time, and that guy can catch fish like you wouldn't believe. But me and my brother, we used to always fish and everything. I don't understand children nowadays that they stay inside all summer long on computers, and they play computer games, and they do all those things. And to me, that's such a waste. I mean, they need outside to breathe the air and get exercise and be a child. Well, listen, I hope you're enjoying your coffee. I'm enjoying my tea. Thank you for stopping by. Please hit the like button And I'm inviting you to subscribe if you have not subscribed to my channel. But that's another story about me and my brother. I just wanted to share it with you. We all have lots of good memories, don't we? I love my brother. He's fixing to be 77 years old. That's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. My brother's a soldier. He always was a soldier. He's Chief Warrant Officer, retired, United States Army. And I'm so proud of my brother. I really am. He's a wonderful person, a very intelligent man. He's got 2 degrees, and a great conversationalist. And he's got a lot of stories to tell about his time in the military. I think he was in there, 24 years, maybe longer. I don't know for sure. I can't remember. But hey, you have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video. Y'all have a wonderful day, and you have a wonderful time, and goodbye from Texas. I'll see you on the next video.